Howdy y'all, it's Russell back with Gwinnett Lawns in beautiful, look at that blue sky. Atlanta, Georgia. Today is Sunday, November the 5th, right? November the 5th, 2023. And it is about, I don't know, 72 degrees out. It's supposed to be like this, I think, all week. And I wanted to, those of you that have been following the demo on the Hustler Super S52, probably wondering why I didn't do a day 4/day 5 video. About the middle of day 3, I started getting sick. As you can probably tell, my voice still isn't correct. And by day 4, it was all I could do to even get out. There's some type of sinus head cold thing going around, and I never get sick, but I was only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep for like 5 nights in a row. And when that happens, whatever's going around's coming to me. So I just, I didn't even go to, today's Sunday, if I didn't say that. And I didn't even go to church today because I didn't want to be doing this and sneezing and wheezing and stuff. I feel better. I do not feel 100%. I still feel a little rundown, but I do feel better. So I wanted to go ahead and give you my final thoughts and observations on the Super S, Hustler Super S 52 that I used. First of all, before I do that, I have to again tell Georgia Outdoor Equipment how appreciative I am for them. Number one, finding me that mower. It took them a while. I don't think that mower was in stock at the dealership, and it took them weeks and Gerald was great. He didn't give up. I was trying to find the carbureted version specifically to demo, but all they could find was the fuel injected version. And I so appreciate that. That is the kind of dealer that you want to do business with. That's why I've bought 3 trim stars from them so far. So they did that for me, and then they let me use it the whole week. So I basically picked it up on a Monday and took it back Friday morning. I put the camera in the truck and I felt so bad I couldn't even video. I'm very sorry for those of you that expected a video out every day, but anyway, I definitely don't want to leave everybody hanging. So my thoughts on the Hustler Super S: the mower exceeded all of my expectations, maybe with the exception of one, which would have been unrealistic. That mower in no way, or any standard from any manufacturer, is going to outdo the hill holding and climbing potential of these guys right here. It just ain't gonna happen. Now, the only standard that I've ever used for several years was a Wright 36i. And because, you know, that mower is really narrow, it's only, 36 inches, it's not gonna be anywhere near as good that a wider stand-on would do. Obviously, if you get a, super wide mower with the double wheels in the back, it's gonna be better, but I guarantee you I've got some hills, some of my customers' yards, that even that wouldn't be able to do. So the Trim Star is the king of the hills. I mean, that is where it rules and reigns, and is the king of low pressure. If you're mowing in really, really soggy ground, wet conditions that you don't want to rut up a yard, even on hills, that's the mower you need. So that mower, the Trim Stars, will always be the cornerstone of Gwinnett Lawns. Whether I'm here, even if I was in an area that was completely flat, I would still use the Trim Stars. Okay, with that being said, and of course, like I said, that was to expect a standard mower to perform on the hills like a Trim Star. Come on, man, that's not realistic. But I will tell you, that thing holds hills. It holds some hills. I put it on some really steep up and down, no problem at all. Side sloping, which is where you get, if it's really steep, the mower will tend to zigzag down, because you have no way to turn the front wheels except with the steering of the rear wheels. And it did really, really super good. Very pleased. I think only on 1 or 2 areas did it, I feel like it was slipping a little bit, but far better. And I cut those yards, or one of the yards, with my 36. The 36 is what I had at the time, and I just made it work. I did some things that would probably turn Ed Wright's stomach as far as inclines that I did on that. Let me get a bucket. I'm gonna sit down, if you don't mind. So anyway, the mower, the 2 things about that mower that I like the best. Number 1 is the power of the engine. This was the fuel injected version, so it has, I think, 29.5 horsepower. The carbureted one, I believe, has 28 horsepower. 27, 28. Far more power than I really need. Now, I didn't do any super overgrown yards. There was 1 yard that the Bermuda was like 7, 8 inches, and it hadn't been cut in a while, but it was dry, and the mower just blew through it. In fact, there was only 1 or 2 areas where I had to do a double cut, but I was like, wow, you know, I would have had to double cut it with the Trimstar, just because well, maybe not that yard, but you know, it's 10 more horsepower, man. There's no king better than 10 or more horsepower. So it's good stuff. The second thing that most impressed me about that mower is how smooth the hydros are. Good gracious, it's like butter. Far smoother than my 36. That's not really a fair comparison, but it's just butter smooth. No jerkiness, no hesitation. It's just on, off, full speed, low speed. It's just really butter smooth. It's got the pump and motor set up. The mower is really heavy duty. I think it's overbuilt personally. You know, it's super heavy. I think that mower weighs almost 1,100 pounds. Trimstar behind me is barely 8, but super smooth. It uses the Hydro Gear pumps and the Parker wheel motors, I believe. The thing that I dislike about the mower the most are the controls. Now, you're gonna say, well, you just said that was the number 1 thing. I prefer myself, because this is what I started on, are the quad lever controls that a Wright has, because I'm able to feather stuff with my fingertips rather than my whole hand, and that's just what I'm used to. So the dual levers, and that's what's on almost all Standers, right? I think maybe Wright may have patented the quad controls, I don't know, but most mowers are the double lever, and most people probably would find the Wrights weird. That's just whatever you learned on. I put about 10 and a half hours on the mower. I didn't get to use it on as many yards as I wanted to, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I was completely fine. I could go full speed, backwards, forwards. I felt completely comfortable with feathering the controls, getting around tight areas. So I got used to it very fast because it's so smooth. There's no weird jerkiness or anything like that in the controls. So I adapted, and it was fine. And it's certainly not a deal breaker. Now, one thing that, because we are in leaf season and there's a ton of leaves on everybody's yard, this is why I didn't get to use it as much as I wanted to, because there was no chute blocker on it. And that mower will throw dry leaves about 20 feet as it's cutting. And it looks like wherever it cuts, I don't care if there's pine straw, which is the hardest thing in the world, pine needles, to suck off of Bermuda. It made it look like there was nothing ever there. It decimated leaves and pine straw. If I had had a chute blocker on there, I think 1 or 2 passes and there would be nothing left, even on the thickest yards that I did, because some of them had a lot of leaves. And what I was having trouble with is normally when I'm doing a yard that's got a lot of leaves, I will do an inside box pattern where I'm shooting the leaves to the inside, and that's if I'm using the TrimStar. And then the final pass, you know, I can go over it once or twice, and all the clippings, the debris that it left, it vanishes. But the problem is, as I got close to the 20-foot mark, it was throwing leaves or pine straw into wherever I just cut. So now I'm all over the yard chasing leaves. And trust me, I was having fun. That mower takes off like a jet engine. It is just, the acceleration on that thing is crazy. So I was basically, it was taking me more time than if I used the TrimStar, but I was having a lot of fun with it. That mower's fun. It's just fun. I was looking for, in fact, I was so tired. This was on day 3. It was starting to get dark, and the sun was almost to the horizon. And I was doing this yard, and the guy came over and said, "Hey, can you mulch the leaves up in my yard?" And we agreed on a price. And it was those like maple leaves, like the gray ones that curl up. They're really fluffy. It doesn't take anything to blow them away. And I started doing my box pattern, and you know, of course, it's blowing them everywhere. But I was having so much fun. I would end up just chasing the leaves around to where there's just nothing left. And it took me longer because it was almost dark when I was done. But the guy came out and he gave me more than I asked him. He said he was aghast and amazed at how I got rid of those leaves. I'm telling you, it would have taken me half the time if I had had a chute blocker on it. Not the motor's fault. The fuel injection, I want to kind of address this. And I know people, the last 3 videos I did say, hey, you know, don't be afraid of fuel injection. And I'm going to tell you why I don't want fuel injection on a mower. If I have to do a field repair, I want as simple as possible. Okay, I know that fuel injection gets better fuel mileage, and you have less starting issues when it's really cold. I've never had starting issues. In fact, the day that it was like 30 degrees, the Super S barely would start. Like, it finally started, and the TrimStar had to squirt some starting fluid in there just because it was turning over so slow. But it didn't like the cold. No mower likes it to be 30 degrees. But if I have to make a field repair or replace a carburetor, no problem at all, right? I don't want to have to carry diagnostic equipment, worry about a computer, a fuel injector. You know, there's more complication to that. And I don't want to have to deal with that. And I do know that at some point, the EPA is going to make these manufacturers lower their emissions. And to do that, you're going to have to have fuel injection. It's the same thing with dirt bikes. My dirt bike is carbureted. All they make now in this kind of dirt bike that I have is fuel injected. And they're 2 strokes. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'll keep my bike forever. I understand. Now, fuel injection in a car is completely different. But I think stuff that's used in really harsh environments, you know, like a dirt bike or a mower, I would rather have carburetor. Generally, a carburetor is just going to start running bad. It's not going to just not start or just cut out and leave you stranded, right? So there's just more complexity to it. And, you know, at some point, like I said, the government's going to make everything go to fuel injection. I mean, I can see a weed eater or something have fuel injection on it, but I don't. I will hold out. I'll be the last one to pick up something that's fuel injected. But phenomenal power in that engine, and I had no complaints at all with it running. And if I do decide to buy a Super S, it will definitely be carbureted. The overall performance of the mower was just phenomenal. Obviously, I'm used to the fuel, and here's this comes with the fact that it's a larger engine. But boy, that thing sucks some fuel. You know, now, granted, when I could run that mower wide open, I was running that mower wide open. I did notice that on the FS 600, on the Trimstar, I run the throttle full blast when I'm cutting. I don't care, it just goes full blast. I didn't have to do that. A lot of times I only needed to do it at 3/4 throttle on the Super S. So, you know, and it does use a lot of fuel because the engine is it's 850 cc's instead of 600. But man, oh man, oh man, was that mower fun. I like that mower. I really do like it. And I think that if you're looking for a mower, I don't think that you could go wrong at all with a Super S. Now, I am going to, and I'm trying to, whoa, this sun. Let me go back in here. I am trying to get a demo set up with the people over at Wright, with the distributor. I want to test out a Wright LG 52. It'll have the carbureted 850 engine, and they've said that they would put a chute blocker on there for me. That's awesome. That way I could really evaluate how well it does with a chute blocker, and that'll give me, you know, it'll give me a little bit better, I guess, feel for how it does in the leaves. But hopefully that will happen this week or maybe next week. I'm still mowing. I have a full day of mowing tomorrow, but the Bermuda is fastly going dormant. So, excuse me, that's gonna come to an end very soon. But I do have my biggest yard for sure is a fescue yard, which I cut year round, and it's got a ton of leaves. So if I was able to cut nothing but that, it would still give me a really good feel for the mower. But that's the only two mowers I'm considering. I definitely, if I had the Super S, I certainly would buy it, and I would be completely happy with it. No problem at all. It's very familiar because it's, you know, similar to the Trimstar, the engine layout, how everything is, and but I do want to test the Wright and see how the LG is, and it's a very good comparison with the LG because the engine's fixed on the frame. It doesn't, it's not like the X or the Standard X, which I was actually considering the Wright X, but I think I would rather have the LG. It's got the big, I want the 850 on there. That engine is so powerful. But the only reason that I am considering a Standard is because I can use it on about 60% of my properties. Yes, it would probably make good sense to maybe have a 48. Then I can get through back gates. But most of the back gates that I have to get to, I would have to use the Trimstar anyway because of the terrain. I want to be able to have the versatility because sometimes I will turn down properties because they're just too big. And you know, I'm not buying this so I could get bigger properties. I'm just trying to be more efficient on the ones that I do have. And boy, just from the speed of mowing. Oh, and the other thing I forgot, I can't really do with the Trimstar is I can roll in the street with the blower on, blowing really fast. You know, with that Pro Slide on the Trimstar, I'm not gonna drag it along the ground. I will sometimes use the backpack blower on the Trimstar in the yard, but with the Standard, because it's so fast, it gets it done really fast, really efficiently. So. The other thing that was weird was not having my trimmer with me on the mower. However, I could go back to the truck, you know, really fast because the mower's quick, and grab the trimmer and go back to the backyard and do my thing like I'd normally do. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much a wrap up on the video. Very impressed with the Hustler Super S. And can't wait to use the Wright and see how that compares, how it stacks up. It'll be a tough decision for sure. You know, if I like the Wright, I don't know. We'll just have to weigh it out. You guys that use the Hustler Super S, either a 52 or the 60 inch, give me some of your feedback. if you have used an LG, I know they're brand new. I don't know if you, at the Equip Expo, if somebody used them. Kind of give me your feedback on that. Or if you have like a 52 Stander X, tell me how you like that on the right. But I do know that I don't see many of either of those around here. Mostly what people use around here in Atlanta are Exmark, and I don't want to, I think for the money they're not the best value. I don't, you know, they're probably good mowers. I know the prices that my Echo dealer sells them, and they're expensive. So yep. Anyway, thank you very much. Again, I'm sorry that I'm a couple days late on getting the recap video done, but yeah, I felt so bad I couldn't do it. But anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video.